A very good morning to one and all present here. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the 60th Foundation Day of our Postgraduate Institute of Medical Education and Research, Chandigarh, at the Bhargav Auditorium. The Institute owes its inception to the vision of medical educationists of the then combined state of Punjab, and supported by the first Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who considered the institutions of scientific knowledge as temples of learning and places of pilgrimage. The institute was established in 1962, and its hospital was inaugurated by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, which was named after him as the Nehru Hospital on July 7, 1963. The four main pillars on which our institute stands tall are provision of high-quality patient care, a strive towards attainment of self-sufficiency in postgraduate medical education, and meeting the country's need for highly qualified medical teachers in all medical and surgical disciplines. Provision of educational facilities for the training of personnel in all important branches of healthcare. And along with the advanced world-class researchers, we are committed to undertake basic community-based researches for the benefit of all. Before we proceed further with today's function, I request our esteemed delegates on the dais to please come forward for the traditional lamp lighting ceremony. We pray with all humility to Ma Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge, to shed away the darkness of ignorance and let in the dawn of self-realization and wisdom. The inquisitive nature of human mind and his never satisfying urge to improve his living conditions forms the very core of our existence. And when curious minds are nurtured with the correct guidance and support, like that offered by this premier institute, the results are certainly revolutionary. With the mission, service to the community, care of the needy, and research for the good of all, we at PGI are committed to leave no stone unturned in contributing towards health for all. As we move ahead with today's function, I would like to call upon the stage our respected Director, Sir, Professor Vivek Lal, to welcome this august gathering. Sir, please.
मेरा आप सभी को नमस्कार. डायरेक्टर एम्स प्रोफेसर श्रीनिवास, फॉर्मर डायरेक्टर्स, फॉर्मर डीन्स, प्रेजेंट डीन्स, फैकल्टी मेंबर्स, कोलीग्स, कर्मचारी जिनको मैं कर्मयोगी कहता हूँ, मेरा आप सभी को नमस्कार and congratulations on the 60th foundation day of this great iconic institute. This is not an ordinary institute. This is a lighthouse. This is a global lighthouse of medical knowledge. If you look at the way this institute has been serving this country, it's amazing. It's absolutely bewildering to believe that something like this could have ever happened. This was built in 1962. When, as I always say, Chandigarh was एक 2.5 सेक्टर का जंगल होता था, 4 सेक्टर, 5 सेक्टर और एक आधा और सेक्टर था. But this institute, because of the Herculean commitment of its forefathers, led by Professor Tulsidas and subsequently Professor Santokh Siganand, Professor P.N. Chotani and the others who followed, took this institute to a level, to a pedestal that simply inspired awe. That simply inspired awe. Our umbilical cord with the patients for whom we are devoted to has only strengthened with time. It has not got diluted with time, it has only strengthened with time. And I hope it continues to be this way. There is no bigger tribute to this institute than to state the fact that there was an important discussion going on in Bombay, and I narrate that discussion, two leading families of India, I will not name the families, one from Bombay, one from Delhi, and one from elsewhere in the country, were discussing medical facilities in their respective cities. So the one from Bombay talked about medical facilities in Bombay, and the family which was from Delhi talked about the medical facilities in Delhi. The one from PGI quoted a very famous phrase in that movie Diwar. कहता मेरे पास माँ है, so I have PGI. That is the power of PGI. That is the iconic power of PGI. And I want each and every Karamchari, each and every Karam Yogi, each and every resident to remember just how much we owe to our patients who are our biggest assets. Hospitals run on commitment. Hospitals run on faith. Where there is faith, patients will come. जहाँ पे मरीज आएगा, अस्पताल का नाम बनेगा, अस्पताल का ऑरा बढ़ेगा, अस्पताल की इज्जत बढ़ेगी. Keep that in mind. Everything else is suprastructure. Everything else. Buildings is suprastructure as far as I am concerned. Infrastructure is commitment. Infrastructure is the passion to serve. That is how important commitment is, for which I can tell you this institute is second to none, sir. This institute is second to none. I was just telling you, the concept of a post-night off doesn't exist in PGI. It is 24/7 working like Terminal T3. You go to T3 in the early hours of the morning, it is as busy as it is during the day. The same thing happens here also. Not only is PGI known for its medical education, patient care, we have been doing some excellent research also. We have our constraints. We don't have the kind of luxury which is available to many other hospitals in the West. We were talking of IITs yesterday. I wish I had so much of money as the IITs did. I don't need that much. You give me 1/10, I'll give them 10 times better results. Believe me, that's the level of commitment that our residents have here. But unfortunately, we do well with what we can. Commitment here, the most priceless of all commodities, is found in abundance. Passion, compassion is the inner light. Commitment is the force that keeps us going. There's one thing about the director which I'll tell you. He's become a dear friend of mine. He's a very unassuming giant. And when he went to Hyderabad as the dean of the ECI facility in 2016, may I allow to be used the word, it is a very famous cattle grazing ground, that ESI facility. And out of nothing, he created an iconic institute which was voted as the best institute in Hyderabad and in India last year. There were no students when he went in 2016 as the dean of that college, ESI college. There were hardly any doctors and there were no patients. Today, it's a 100-seater medical college. There are bona fide MD, MS courses, and it runs super specialty courses also. As someone said, when he went, that hospital was in a coma. And when he came out, he had converted it into a roaring and an iconic institute. And it's a testimony and a testimonial to his vision that today all ESI hospitals are gradually getting converted into medical colleges. One man can change a system. One man can change the way things can move. That one man we are lucky to have as our chief guest today. I end here, sir. I welcome you once again. I will keep troubling you again. I promise you that. Thank you so much for being with us. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for always being so supportive towards all our endeavors. At this distinctive occasion of 60th Institute Foundation Day celebrations, it is time that an instant spirit weaves the entire staff of PGI together. We all are privileged to celebrate this gracious moment together and make it a memorable one. May I request you, sir, to officially release the PGI anthem.
आशाएं जीने की मन में जगाए, असीम ज्ञान की धारा बहाए। आशाएं जीने की मन में जगाए, असीम ज्ञान की धारा बहाए। शिक्षा विज्ञान और स्वास्थ्य का ये सेवा संस्थान हमारा।
दीक्षा भी है यह शोध भी, कर्तव्य का है बोध भी। भारत के हर एक प्रांत से आए हुए हैं हम सभी। हर शख्स यहाँ जो आया है, उसे रोग मुक्त कराया है। जीवन यहाँ अनमोल है, सभी की आस संजोया है, सभी की आस संजोया है। विश्व कल्याण सर्व मंगलम उद्देश्य है हमारा। संकल्प है संस्थान का, लहराएंगे परचम। हम हैं PGI चंडीगढ़, हम हैं PGI चंडीगढ़, हम हैं PGI चंडीगढ़, हम हैं PGI चंडीगढ़। आर्थ सेवा सर्वत्र शोधश्च, आर्थ सेवा सर्वत्र शोधश्च, आर्थ सेवा सर्वत्र शोधश्च, आर्थ सेवा सर्वत्र शोधश्च।
In this era of technological advancements and rapidly evolving medical science, it is of paramount importance that we never lose sight of the foundation upon which our noble profession stands, that is, ethics. We as healthcare professionals bear a tremendous responsibility, not just towards our patients, but also towards the ethical principles that govern our practice. The ethical principles, delicately intertwined with evidence-informed healthcare practices, ensures the well-being of our patients in its true sense. To further enlighten us all on the significance of medical education and ethics, it's an honor to have with us the distinguished presence of Professor M. Srinivas, Director AIIMS, New Delhi, as our revered chief guest for today's function. Professor M. Srinivas has an illustrious career with more than 3 decades of experience and has held esteemed positions in the academic, administrative, and research fields. I request our chief guest to please come forward and enlighten all of us with the plethora of his knowledge and experiences. Sir, please.
आपकी मर्जी। Thank you for the kind words. There are enlightened souls here. There's nothing to enlighten. हमें PGI बोल दिया आपने already. So first of all, I thank Director Sir for giving us the opportunity. That I look forward that this opportunity actually brings the AIMS and PGI together. That is something which is more important than anything else, because I feel that this is a place where a lot of things are there, known for the excellence in all the domains, be it patient care, teaching, learning, research, and administration. I think somehow we have to break these silos. I think this is something which I would have spoken on rather than ethics and compassion, because most of the people will say कि ये तो ऐसा ही है. So thanks once again, dignitaries on the dais, of the dais, and my Guruji, Professor Rao is here. The great teachers are here. Nice to see. And the Chandigarh has been always known for the discipline. You see, you started at 7:59, not 8 o'clock. I think you should give big hand to the people who are known for this discipline here. Because as a resident also, we used to always say that the Chandigarh resident kitne baje jata hai, everybody, every department quotes it. And I think this is a pride moment for all of us to say that on this Institution Foundation Day, that Chandigarh has stood to that for the decades to come. And this is something which the whole country learns from you. And all of us always say that yahan par kam zyada hota hai. It's good for us, as a learner, that we always think of going into the how best we can get, the specialities and the people, the doyens which you have quoted. All that is something which always tell us that, this is a place of great learning. This is something which, the country looks at you, all the people who look at that. And we are known for that, whether it is ethics, compassion, and the kind of things which we do it. And whether we look into whatever it is, you look into the Charak Samhita, Hippocratic Oath, everything talk about the humanity, compassion, ethics, and ethics in the medical services and everything that. And then even the international covenants also talk about humanity, ethics, and ethos. Then what is important is today, many people think that the technology has overtaken us, which is not true. You can see that how when we were coming, the parking was full for you, and I was telling that, your residents are so much that they are there at 7:30 here. And advances in technology have come, but what is important is today with the high-tech technology, we should not lose that high touch which you talked about. And this is something which is very important for the youngsters who are here, that today we have to be more and more to the patient, like what our teachers were there, they're always spending more time with the history taking, with the patient being the bedside, touching the patient, clinical examination and all that. No instrument, no technology, no equipment will replace the human touch and the compassion which we give it to them. And this is something which the Chandigarh has stood for it, and we always take it from you, sir. I was asked that I will speak to the resident doctors, and this is something which they may not like it, because today everybody learns from the Google Mataji. And well, because I had to do my duty at the same time. What is important is you chose your role models, There are enough role models. You have seen the Hammai Chandigarh trial, and there are models here. There are models I can tell, because if I tell one department, the other fellow will feel. Every department here is a role model. You look into the people who have toiled here, who have established the departments, the services over here, you name it. I can talk about pediatric surgery, because I know that my Guruji is sitting here. And it's important that we chose our role models consciously. This is very important. And in fact, we have been blessed by AIMS and PGI and the big institutions of the country that the people who established the departments are the highest order people. They left all the good things. Many of the people, if you look into 1960s and 70s, they came from abroad. They were in the best of the institutions in the world. They came and struggled to get the departments. And some of the super specialities were offshoots of the main specialities, like what Sir Umbilical Cord Sir was talking about. They came and established the departments. I think they should be a role model, because when you go back to your institutions, wherever it is, either you stick to this place where a super speciality and sub-super speciality will come, or when you go back to your states and the places, you need to have that kind of inquisitiveness and the commitment and the administrative skills that you can take it from these role models, This is something which is very important. There will be ethical challenges, because there has been issues. There has been issues with especially some of the hospitals, the state government run hospitals. There will be ethical issues, administrative challenges. But I think as an youngster, you must learn from your role models over here in the biggest of the institutions like this. And what sir told, as already, the patience, compassion, and the teaching style. Chandigarh is very well known for the teaching style. We always used to tell that, वहाँ पर teaching ज़्यादा होता है. This is something which is true. Many of us who have come here as whatever it is, for the conferences and as an expert in the exams, and some of us colleagues are there. In fact, when I was coming from AIMS, two of the people who have attachment to Chandigarh, they also joined me. I think we must give a big hand to the people in AIMS who always, think of you and then say that, Chandigarh is a beautiful place. And as you enter, they say, welcome to the beautiful city, the city Chandigarh, the beautiful, You are beautiful in everything, the PGI Chandigarh is beautiful in anything, all the domains of that. This is something which is very important, the teaching style which you have. I think we need to emulate this and then give the message. And wherever we go, the flag of the Chandigarh should be very high so that you continue with the teaching style which you have. This is something which is very, very important. Make your own standards. I see the doyens here. I can see Professor Chawla here, Articulate your own standards regularly. This is something which people have been very compassionate. You name the department, you name the consultant here, I can tell the standards they have put in. Though I am from a surgical specialty, but we have been hearing it, we have been coming here and we see them when they come to AIMS, that the kind of knowledge they have, the kind of commitment they have, the kind of the structures they have put it on in Chandigarh. I think this is something which we are, because as the time passes, we all need to, grow it. Every standard grows. As the time grows, the standards also grow. And the ethical development is very important. And reading, discussion, the practice, yes, the most important thing for all of us, that we have our own SOPs, guidelines, and the standard practices guidelines. I know that, at least in the Department of Neonatology and Pediatrics, the kind of and the pediatric surgery, the kind of guidelines we used to learn, we used to photocopy the things from here. In fact, honestly, sir, that we used to photocopy and then learn from some of the guidelines which this institution has made it. And it's important, when we go into the other institutions, I think there are not much of the ethical issues in the bigger institutions, but when you as an youngster complete your DM, MCH and the training and the fellowship here, go back to the respective states and places, there will be ethical challenges. We must be prepared for that, and we must be strong enough to see to it that then we maintain our standards and do it. This is something which was very important. And definitely today's doctors are going through the dilemma of the difficult times, because we need to balance so many things with respect to the time, so many things with respect to the technology which has come over. We may not have that kind of access and the luxury of the best of the equipment and the systems when we go back to our own places of state and everywhere. And the most important thing which gives us the happiness and the pleasure is the feeling which we give it to the patient. If we have a feeling to the patient and the gratitude which comes, I always tell, if you look into my own teachers in pediatric surgery, they would have said that why you have chosen pediatric surgery. They will say that, the answer is most of the people. If you ask Professor Rao today, probably he will answer that when the patient comes back to you in the post-surgery to the OPD, there is a gratitude in the eyes of the mother. This is something which can never be given by the money. It can never be given by the awards. This is something which is a great thing. This is something which is very important, because our teachers have told us. Our teacher have told us the biggest thing which you can earn is not the money or the name or the fame. No matter whether we are in AIMS or PGI or whatever we are, I think the mother's gratitude when they come back to the post-operatively, to the OPD, and then convey that, no matter they may not know the language. There are occasions where we know that the patients don't know the language what we speak, but I speak the language. I speak the gratitude. This is something which is very important. Feel for the patient and then get that pleasure of that. The highest of the happiness and what we gain is the gratitude from that. Now, this is something which I'm coming up to the medical education, to the teachers, the teachers who are there. We need to set examples, and the examples are very, very, clear in the PGI Chandigarh. Your teachers, we also know some of the teachers who are from here, that they set example for all of us. The discipline which we have, the knowledge we carry, the kind of commitment we have for the research, this is something which we need to continue. And then I hope that the younger generation also continues with this. And wherever they go, they continue with this. And the other thing is a genuine concern for the individual patient. Today, the things are changing, the more complicated things are coming, the budget issues are there in most of the institutions. The load, the biggest challenge for most of the biggest institutions is the clinical load. Sometimes the systems get overwhelmed. We are not in a position to take care of them, but as long as we are genuinely concerned to them, so there should not be any issues with them. And the other thing which we were talking about, whether self-awareness, empathy, and the genuineness of the things, and whatever the patient and his caregivers which we have is something which is very important. Again, coming back to the youngsters, these are the small things which we have been told always. I remember Professor Mitra, there were great Professor Mitra in PGI Chandigarh. There was one more great Professor Mitra in AIMS Delhi. In fact, my examiners were both Mitras, Professor Mitra from here and Professor Mitra from the AIMS Delhi. So they were the people who told us that, always you must have the apron. And I always see that as the PGI Chandigarh was coming out, somebody was giving him the apron. I was wondering that, that's the kind of discipline which you have here. And we need to introduce ourselves to the patient. I remember when I was abroad, one of my own teacher did not clear the Royal College of Surgeons exam. And then I asked the person there, what is that? He is a great person, he knows everything. Two things which were told to me, that, he did not introduce yourself, he did not name, and did not wash the hands. Of course, the COVID has told us how to wash. This is something which is very important for the youngsters, that, we always take care of the small things which may appear small for us. I know there will be a lot of pressure on us in the OPDs where the large numbers have come, but I think it should be a standard operating protocol for us that, we identify ourselves. And the biggest thing is that, we have learned in our own wards that never call the patient by the bed number. That the numbers are called only in the jails. We need to introduce ourselves and then introduce the patient and call by the name of the patient. And there are things where, some of the people, when we used to sit on the bed of the patient, our teachers will not take it easy. This is something, again, very important for all of us, that we respect the patient's concerns. And we don't have that habit, of course, that we talk about the patients and all, because the patients are also watching us, that, is something which is rare. Because sometimes we deal with the very confidential issues. It could be issues, especially in pediatric surgery, there are transgender issues and everything. We don't want to discuss all that with everybody. And of course, autonomy is very important, because when we want to grow, we need to be having the institutions of autonomy. Unfortunately, I'm sure the doyens are sitting here over a period of time, that kind of sense of autonomy, and also in reality, we are coming out less and less on the autonomy. It's important that the institutions like this, and when you go back and build your own institutions, maintain that autonomy, and autonomy will come from your strength. If you have the honesty and integrity, if you are very straightforward, no amount of whatever pressures from outside will subdue you and will go you down. This is something, once you stand up to your character, integrity, patient care, genuineness, no amount of either political or administrative pressure is going to succumb you, and then autonomy will definitely follow for you. And these are things which are very important, justice and empathy and everything. The other thing which I've been told, that, how we respect people, and regardless of what all the things, and the communication skills are very important. Unfortunately, in today's communication technology, we are spending more time on the net and the Google rather than with the patient. The learning has also become more of the Google. I think this is something the youngsters have to look into that. And the most important challenge for all of us today is that how do we connect more to the patient than the internet, in even the wards and the operation theaters and wherever we are. Of course, the learning material is there in the digital mode. It doesn't mean that we should come out of the patient in the live situations. In fact, there are occasions where, some of the patients say that, you are spending more time in front of your desktop. Even in the OPDs, they say that, Dr. Sahab, aap to desktop ke upar zyada time dete ho, lekin hamare se to kam time diya hai. This is something which is not right. Of course, we have got all the hospital information systems and everything, but still we need to maintain that balance and then give a good amount of time and the feeling to the patient that we are there with the patient to listen to that. And these are the things which are, just summing up the things. And humanizing healthcare is the most important thing. There are number of those literature where we can go through. Over a period of time, there has been decrease in this. This is a universal phenomenon. It is not that only in India it is happening. It is universally there in all the milieux of the social strata. You know, why only the medical education or the social services or something? Every sphere in the world, in the country, there has been, appears to be, you know, for the at least the older generation. Younger generation may not agree with that. There is no, you may come out with some meta-analysis after some time, but there has been a decrease in the humanizing healthcare and other things, and that's the reason why we need to look into the patients as not as an individual entities, you know, because all the problems happens is, you know, when we look into them that as a group, and it's important that we create our own groups of people, you know, all of you, you know, when you subspecialize, go into super specialty subspecializations, you need to focus on particular groups and take care of them, and also look into that, you know, we take them as a group and then give the best of the SOPs and the guidelines and everything. And whatever it is, you know, we look into all the literature, whatever our teachers used to tell, our parents used to tell, whatever our political leaders of the country and the universe, you know, who are the best of the people, of the leaders, they all talk about that, you know, we are the intermediate between the God and the patient. You know, this is something which is very important. As long as we care for the patient, we will be the good doctors. And if we are good doctors, definitely we will be best of the things in everything, whether it is whatever the domains which we are doing it. And we have been given the task of that. What sir told just now, that, you know, it makes a difference in their lives. You know, if you go into I went to the director's chamber, that, you know, you look into that on the right side, left side, everywhere. I was telling, is the temple, the PGI itself is a temple. And sir's room is a bigger temple, I think, you know, so something which you should give a big hand for him. The Ramakrishna missions, ethos, how Arnold gave the description about Sri Ramakrishna. And the TV was also showing some temple and the disciples where they're offering the prayers and everything. This is something which is very important. It gives a positive vibrations. This institution has a positive vibrations, and then I could feel it, and that brings the difference in the lives of the people. And of course, you are blessed it. You know, you are the highest of the IQs, because when you get selected to this place, you have the highest of the IQ, highest of the marks, and the best of the people in the country chose to be here. And what is important now with the IQ is the emotional quotient. And this is something which is very important to give the best of the treatment. And it's also something which is very important for all of you to get taken into other institutions. You know, today, most of the interviews, you know, you can ask your teachers that they are not just looking at your merit, but also looking beyond the merit. And that's where the emotional quotient comes into the picture. And there has been studies, you know, that there has been decrease in the values, whether it is moral, social, empathy, sympathy, and all that. And this is also, we are also part of the same system and the sphere. So it's very important that, you know, we bring a sense of existence for the patients and look into that, you know, not just reading the textbooks of standard textbooks of our own subjects. We should look into the various sympathy, empathy, and other factors and everything. And of course, today, the technology is booming, and then we move forward with the various precision medicine, personal medicines, and all the basic research which is happening. That puts a lot of toil on you, because you're not only taking care of patients, but also you need to do research, the thesis publications, and the best of the publications, impact factors, and your teachers who are pushing you, the projects and everything. This is something which we need to make a fair balance between all that, and so that we have continue with our best of the things. And the bottom line is, you know, the passion. You know, if we have passion, everything is easy for us. Sir was telling that how do we have so many problems are there in AIMS Delhi, how are you managing it? You know, as long as you are passionate about your work, there is no stress. In fact, the people who talk about stress, they have distinction between the stress, you know, the so-called eustress and the distress. Distress is when you don't achieve it, when you feel that things are happening, when you're not passionate about it. When you're passionate about it, the success will come. And then the so-called, whatever the so-called physiological stress is actually eustress. And I think that's something which drives the people to move forward. This is something which is very important. And then again, I'm quoting the great man who said that the only way the great work is done is when we love what you do it. You know, if we have passion and the love for the patient care, love for the teaching and learning, love for the research, love for the good governance and transparency, which is very important in our country, because there has been issues of late on these patterns. And I think you were talking about no post-duty off. we need to look into that. We need to look into that, that work-life balance is very important. The older generation and our generation might have endured it. I think with the technological advances and the thrusters and the research and everything, we need to look into that, what kind of balances these resident doctors, we need to look into that so that their welfare is also taken care, because once the happy doctor is there, the patient also will be happy. I think we need to look into that and and I was always told by our Professor K.S. Reddy, the cardiology, the VIP in most of the government institutions is very impoverished patient. He doesn't know where he comes, where he goes, no signages, this, that. We have grown over a period of time very, very much unorganized. We haven't designed our institutions to grow like that. Today, most of the bigger centers, I'm sure here also, it is 10 to 15,000 of OPD per day. And that's where the people, the patient feels that impoverished because he doesn't know where to go, whom to ask, long waiting lists and everything. I think we must make it. In fact, in the ESIC, we said that so-called IP, the patient in ESIC is called insured person. So we made IP into VIP as a slogan. Every IP is a VIP. I think this is something which is very important. We treat every patient as the most important and a VIP. And for you, the youngsters, the resident doctors and the students who are here, the sky is the limit. Yesterday also you must have seen India is making big strides in the space, and over a period of a short span of time we have gone it. So for you, the sky is the limit, especially in an institution like PGI Chandigarh, where everything is there for you. And very few institutions in this country and in the world have everything with you, where you can just stretch your arm to the biotechnology, molecular biology, biostatistics, everything one under roof. And I'm sure you can ask, when you go abroad, you will see, when you can ask your teachers, that even the best of the institutions in the world, they are not under one roof and one compound. This is something which you must utilize it and get the best of the things, whatever we can. Sky is the limit for all of you. And sir, get inspired by your Swami Vivekananda in your room. And you know that, the people abroad, when we read in the textbooks, the doctors are called barbers, vivisectionists and all. But this is a great nation, our culture and heritage. And it's a great nation where our doctors were called rishis and munis. We were not barbers. So if we were different in this old age, and today also we must become the best of the people. And as Swami Vivekananda said, that the West, the tailor makes the man, and in the East, character makes the man. This is something which I got inspired in your room, and this is something which is great. And with this, I once again feel that the next topic for the Foundation Day, if you happen to get somebody from AIIMS, how to collaborate between PGI and AIIMS, because this is something which is very, very close to my heart, because institutions should not go in silos. There is, today, we need to break those silos within the institutions also. My lab, my equipment, my room, my department, my unit. I think this is something which is very bad for most of the institutions to grow. We need to break those silos, and then the silos should break not only just beyond the institution, but between the institutions also, because unless we do a collaborative, multicentric, multinational studies, and then knowing each other, coming and this thing. And fortunately, we are not very far. Delhi and Chandigarh are very near to each other, very well connected. And as we said, in our sayings, that Sarve Bhavana Sukhi Bhavantu. And I think let every one of us be happy. And with this, again, request all of you, congratulations on this Foundation Day. And great moment for me that I'm over here with my teachers, my gurus, and the great inspirators. And this institution grows, and then you are part of it, and then let us do that, we collaborate from each other. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your insights on the various aspects of medical ethics that can be used to support our patient care and research. Now it is time to acknowledge the hard work done by our colleagues, the employees of this institute. The employees of this institute are extremely dedicated, hardworking, responsible, and conscientious workers. They harmoniously and responsibly accomplish the work assigned to them, even beyond their scheduled working hours, which is worth an appreciation. Some of them have been chosen to be honored on this prestigious occasion. May I request the dignitaries on the dais to kindly come forward for the award distribution ceremony. I would now like to call upon the outstanding employees of the Institute for this year. Mrs. Bubbly, Sanitation Attendant, Department of Virology. Shri Kaku, Sanitary Attendant, Medical Microbiology. Shri Ashish Kumar Singh, Hospital Attendant, Oral Health Sciences Center. Shri Pavan Kumar, Hospital Attendant, Dr. Tulsi Das Library. Shri Ramesh Chand, Hospital Attendant, Medical Microbiology. Shri Harmeet Puri, Hospital Attendant, Accounts Branch. Shri Shobha Ram, Hospital Attendant, Registrar Office. Shri Pratap Singh, Hospital Attendant, 9. Mrs. Kiran, Hospital Attendant, Estate Branch. Shri Ramesh Kumar Chauhan, Hospital Attendant, Account Section. Mrs. Gayatri Devi, Hospital Attendant, Neurosurgery. Shri Sucharam, Work Attendant, Grade 2, Engineering Wing. Shri Baljit Singh, Technician, Grade 3, Electrical, Engineering Wing. Shri Anup Singh, Lift Operator Grade 2, Engineering Wing. Shri Karanveer, Technician Grade 3, RAC, Engineering Wing. Shri Harjeet Singh, Security Supervisor Grade 2, Security Department. Mrs. Manju Sharma, Senior Administrative Assistant, Nursing Cell, MS Office. Mrs. Charanjeet Kaur, Junior Administrative Officer, Immunopathology. Shri Sunmukh Singh, Office Superintendent, Recruitment Cell. Shri Arvinder, Junior Lab Technician, Hepatology. Dr. Upasna Gautam, Technical Assistant, Cytology and Gynae Pathology. Shri Pavan Kumar, Technical Officer OT, Anesthesia and Intensive Care. Mrs. Anita Rani, Stenographer, Pulmonary Medicine. Mrs. Saroj Bala, Stenographer, Otolaryngology. Shri Narendra Nijhara, Principal Private Secretary, Office of DDA. Mrs. Nidhi Sharma, Nursing Officer, NHE ENT Ward. Shri Mahesh Chand Pamwar, Nursing Officer, Emergency OPD. Mrs. Radha Thapa, Senior Nursing Officer, Urology, Robotic OT. Mrs. Sudesh Rani, Senior Nursing Officer, Urology OT, MOT. Mrs. Inderjeet Kaur, Senior Nursing Officer, Riku. Mrs. Sheba Kamna Kemwar, Senior Nursing Officer, ENT OT. And the last one, Dr. Pradeep Kumar Sarkar, Superintendent, Physiotherapist, Physical and Rehabilitation Medicine. Congratulations to all of you. To express our sincere gratitude, I would request Professor Vivek Lal, Director PGI, and other dignitaries to kindly felicitate our chief guest of today's function. Our culture teaches us to be thankful for what we have, and we shall end up having more. May I call upon Professor Naresh Panda, Dean Academic, to propose a vote of thanks.
Good morning. Professor M. Srinivas, Director, Royal Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi. Professor Vivek Lal, Director, PGI. Professor Ashima, Mr. Umed Mathur, Registrar, PGI. Former Directors, Professor Jagatram, Professor Yogesh Chawla. Former Deans, Professor Behra, Professor Subhash Verma, Professor G.D. Puri. Former Vice Chancellor of Punjab University, Professor Arun Grover. My friend, Professor Sanjay Wadhwa, who was here in the Department of Physiotherapy many years back. Other teachers, former faculty members, Professor K.L.N. Rao, Professor Rajendra Singh, Professor Vipin Kaushal, Medical Superintendent, Mr. Kumar Gaurav Dhawan, Deputy Director, Administration, Mr. Kumar Abhay, Financial Advisor, other faculty members, former faculty members and colleagues, and new students and residents to this institute, and dear friends. It's my pleasant duty to propose a vote of thanks, and thank you very much, sir, for nicely elucidating what actually is considered important for a new resident, because they have to go further in their career. As you rightly pointed out, you talked about the Royal College of Surgeons and talked about introducing himself. In fact, another important aspect in Royal College examinations is that in addition to introducing yourself, you have to ask the patient, do you have any soreness? If you are asked to, examine the neck, and the moment if you have not asked, is the neck sore, and you touch the patient, your examination is over there. So that's how it's important. It's an occasion now, as we are at the 60th Foundation Day of our institute, to pay our homage to the founding fathers of this institute, who laid the work ethics of punctuality and hard work and commitment and passion to the patient care. I remember as you talked, PGI is known for its punctuality. And I know when we were residents, we would not find our teachers arriving at 8:01. They would be arriving at 7:59, as you said. And if they are not coming at 8 o'clock, that means he's not coming for the morning rounds. So that's the ethics. For the new residents and the students who have come into the portals of PGI, the next 3 years are going to be hard for you. But I'm sure the toil and hard work and the sweat which you will undergo in the next 3 years will stand you in good stead when you come out of the portals of PGI, and you will be a different professional than what you have entered now. So all the best. Congratulations for being selected to this August Institute, and I'm sure you have a bright future. Our thanks also, you saw the wonderful, the anthem of PGI, and the credit goes to Professor Vivek Lal, under whose guidance, and Professor Viman Saikia and his team, who actually worked hard to bring it before you today. Our appreciation to the other arms of PGI, particularly the engineering wing, the agriculture, the projection team, and other services who have actually put forward their hard work for this function. Last and not the least, thank you very much, all of you, to have spared your valuable time to come over and attend this function. Thank you very much, all of you. Jai Hind.
May I request all of you to kindly rise for the national anthem.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 जय.
It would be a pleasure to have all of you for a cup of tea and the lawns adjoining the Bhargav Auditorium. Thank you so much.